Introduction. The book is structured into 3 parts, each comprising 10 chapters that address the ultimate philosophical questions. The first part explores the philosophical question, who we are, across 5 chapters. Chapter 1 narrates a science fiction short story about a future event where Earth faces extinction and must carry out a massive space migration to save the human race. An incident during the migration results in some humans triumphantly arriving on the colonized planet, while some human babies are returned to Earth. The 2 groups of survivors led distinct lives and follow separate paths. This raises the question, why does humanity exhibit both extraordinary and dismal traits? Chapter 2 discusses several perplexing issues in biological evolution, including the difference between omnivorous and monophagous species, the unusual nature of brain centrality formation, the characteristics of human language, the problematic aspects associated with it, Darwin's theory of evolution, the paradox of diversity, and the relationship between domestication and evolution. Moreover, this chapter delves into the individual and psychosocial aspects of conflict, covering topics such as the evolutionary process of curiosity, the origin and nature of anxiety, depression and self-deception, the phenomenon of selfishness and altruism, the meaning underlying it, the origin of group living, and the existential significance of good and evil and their byproducts. Chapter 3 analyzes the inner mechanisms of natural bioactivity from an energetic perspective and delves into the biological nature of organisms. This study explores how individual organisms and evolutionary processes achieve equilibrium, highlighting the significance of energy intake and retention in maintaining organismal bioactivity. The article also addresses the significance of microenergetic information and how all organisms sense and respond to it. The chapter presents a novel viewpoint on the nature of biological reproduction. It establishes a correlation between lifespan and life replication and provides new insights into the mechanisms of gene inheritance and mutation. The chapter ends with an examination of the meanings of security and connectedness for organisms. It explains why trust judgments are an instinctual behavior in organisms. Chapter 4 discusses the fundamental principles of human civilization. The chapter identifies upright walking, vocal organs, language centers, and texts as the 4 major advancements in human evolution. It explains how humans establish connections with plants, animals, microbes, and abiotic energy sources, and how these connections enable them to acquire knowledge and experience. The chapter outlines the evolution of human connections, including blood ties, community, commerce, trade, social companionship, confrontation, and warfare. The final section of the chapter describes various trust mechanisms that humans have developed to address human connectivity and explains why and how these mechanisms emerged throughout history. From another perspective, Chapter 5 introduces a novel concept of life that challenges the traditional human perception. This chapter examines phenomena in crystals, non-crystals, liquids, and gases, and ultimately defines life in a material form by relying on the traditional characteristics of living things. This chapter analyzes and elaborates in depth the commonalities among different beings and proposes 2 new laws: the living constitution of life for organisms and the cosmic law for non-organisms. The chapter concludes with a compelling and intriguing idea regarding the origins of both biological and non-biological life. The second part seeks to answer the ultimate question of human origins and comprises 3 chapters. Chapter 6 addresses the challenges involved in perceiving the relationship between science and theology. After analyzing the contradictions present in certainty, uncertainty, inertia, spacetime, thermodynamics, chemical bonding, and the formation of the universe, this chapter concludes that our perception of the world and the universe is complex and mysterious, making us ponder why we seek information about our origin. Furthermore, this chapter provides answers to the limitations imposed by our human limitations on scientific exploration. In Chapter 7, bold hypotheses about the microscopic world drawn from Chapter 6 are presented. The chapter describes the properties and laws governing the motion of male and female particles, revealing insights into matter formation, determinism, and indeterminism. Chapter 8 offers a reinterpretation of existing science in light of male and female particles, explaining the mathematics of Euclidean geometry, infinity, infinite smallness, irrational numbers, continuity, discontinuity, and probability statistics in easily understandable terms regarding the meaning of nature. The chapter presents new physical interpretations such as time, wave-particle duality, forces, inertia, turbulence, antimatter, human memory, cognition formation, and why humans seek happiness. The final 2 chapters of the 3rd part are devoted to answering the ultimate question of where we are heading. Chapter 9 reconstructs our understanding in the logic of male and female particles, demonstrating how to move beyond disciplinary boundaries and uncover important meanings, while promoting a revolutionary shift in language and thinking. This chapter examines the challenges facing education in contemporary society, highlighting issues in family, school, and elite education, and advocating for a more scientifically and logically grounded approach to learning and development. Chapter 10 discusses the fundamental mechanisms behind the operation of human society and provides insight into the future outlook. The chapter introduces the concept of trusts, based on the differentiation between individualized and socialized values. It then delves into the root causes for the creation of endless human desires and evils, before offering insights on reconceptualizing the concept of values and trusts, and reorganizing the original trust mechanism into a system that caters to the needs of all human beings. The chapter identifies obstacles to human progress, analyzes the destruction of human society by 3 prevailing phenomena: totalitarian evil, democratic vulnerability, and leadership overestimation, and offers suggestions on how to overcome cognitive biases and other negative factors to achieve a high-trust future. This book covers various disciplines including biology, evolutionary biology, psychology, history, classical physics, quantum physics, mathematics, chemistry, anthropology, sociology, and cosmology. It aims to identify deeper connections between various disciplines and theories, and to explore the nature of knowledge. Due to the broad scope of the topics covered in this book, and its emphasis on synthesizing information, it is not possible to provide an in-depth and comprehensive analysis of certain specific issues. The questions and hypotheses formulated in this book are daring, and might not be entirely accurate or well-developed. Nevertheless, they aim to broaden the reader's perspective and encourage further inquiry. Contents. Preface. Introduction. Part 1. Who are we? Chapter 1. Great Contrast. 4020 AD. Chapter 2. Evolutionary Contradictions. Omnivorous and Monophagous. The Brain and Language. Survival of the Fittest. Curiosity. Anxiety. Selfishness and Altruism. Group Living. Chapter 3. Biological Nature. Energy Balance. Energy Intake. Energy Lock-in. Energy Information. Continuity and Leaps. Security and Connection. Chapter 4. The Underlying Logic of Civilization. Leaps in Human Evolution. External Great Connection. Connection between humans. The Significance and Evolution of Trust. Chapter 5. A New Understanding of Life. What is life about? The life constitution of organisms. The universal law of abiotic life. Part 2. Where did we come from? Chapter 6. Cognitive Paradox. Scientific Intuition and Measurement. Science and God. Complexity Trap. Chapter 7. Male and Female Particles. A Bold Conjecture. The Code of Matter. Chapter 8. Reconstruction of Scientific Meaning. The Significance of Mathematics. Physics Reinterpretation. Derivation of the Significance of Life and Society. Part 3. Where are we going? Chapter 9. Forget about learning. Knowledge Reconstruction. Rescuing Education. Chapter 10. Trust Revolution. Trust Reform. Reorganization of Trust Mechanisms. The Road to Progress and the Future of Human Society. References.